Okay guys, this is going to be the first video from lesson 3.3 homework. I'm going to do a few at a time, a few problems at a time, so you guys can just log into what you need. The first problem for 3.3, and your problems are kind of scrambled, so this might not be your first problem, but the way that this is generally going to start is we're going to have, I'm trying to get this adjusted. It says the double angle identity for sine 2x. And all they're asking you to do is just look at your double angle formulas on your identity sheet and just fill in the blank. Just choose the one that works. So sine of 2x would be equal to 2 times the sine of x times the cosine of x. Okay, number 2 says complete the sentence. The cosine of 2 theta. So here you go. They have 3 options here. I think they're going to want you to use all 3. The cosine of 2 theta starts off with cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. And then they have 2 cosine theta minus 1. It's cosine squared. Then they have 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. And all I did was I just looked right there and I got those answers. Okay. Number 3 says fill in the blank so that the resulting statement is true. I hope I'm not covering up my microphone. I'm pretty sure I've been covering up my microphone. But those were pretty simple and I got them right from here on the identity sheet. So just look right there. It says the tangent of 2b, so it's just going to want you to go to here and use that, replacing theta with b. And it is 2 times the tangent of b over 1 minus tan squared b. And that one would be this answer, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Now, it might not be the C answer on your paper. It might be the A or the B or the whatever. But anyway, that's the answer there. Now, number 4 says, cosecant squared of alpha equals. You're probably looking at that going, where did we start? What in the world is she talking about? Well, what you need to do is you need to look through here at your answer choices. They all have cosine of 2 times an angle. So I'm using this. I'm using some part of that. Now I know that the cosecant squared is, cosecant and sine are reciprocal reciprocal functions. So this is really cosecant squared equals, where's that at on here? Is it negative? No, it's not negative. What did I think it was? Negative. It's not. It's 1 over sine squared alpha. Okay? So then you got to figure out which one of these you want to use. Well, the cosine of 2 alpha is equal to 1 minus 2 sine squared alpha. That's the one I'm going with. I'm going to try to do something with this. So I'm going to solve. I'm going to get rid of the 1 by subtracting 1 from both sides. So it's going to be cosine of 2 alpha minus 1 equals negative 2 sine squared alpha. And then I'm going to divide by negative 2. So I've got negative cosine of 2 alpha minus 1 over 2. Now I can put that negative on the 2, I can put it out front, but if I distribute it, it's going to change the signs of these. And what's left over here is sine squared alpha, but I don't need it to be sine squared alpha, I need it to be its reciprocal. So I'm going to use the reciprocal, I'm going to flip both sides. So this is now negative 2 over cosine 2 theta minus 1 equals 1 over sine squared alpha, which is what I want. So I don't know that that one's going to be listed, But what they did was they took that negative and they used it here and here. So this is really 2 over negative cosine 2 alpha plus 1. And then they actually rearranged it. 2 over 1 minus cosine of 2 alpha, which is that answer right there. Number 5 says, fill in the blank so that the resulting statement is true. Negative cosine squared theta. Well, let's look at these answer choices. Again, they involve cosine of 2 theta. So I know that I need to go here. I need to use one of those. I don't see anything to do with the sign in there, so I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to say 2 cosine squared theta minus 1. That's what that equals. So I'm going to take, no, I'm not, it's not what it equals, but I'm going to take 2 cosine squared theta minus 1 is equal to the cosine of 2 theta. 2 cosine squared theta minus 1 equals cosine of 2 theta. And I'm going to try to solve for cosine squared. And then I'll try to work on the negative sign when I get through. So obviously I'm going to add the 1 first, and it's going to say 2 cosine squared theta equals cosine 2 theta plus 1. And then I'm going to divide by 2. And this is going to be cosine squared theta equals cosine of 2 theta plus 1 over 2. But I want it to be negative, so I'm going to multiply by negative 1 on both sides, which is going to be negative cosine squared theta equals, and the negative is going to change the signs there, negative cosine 2 theta minus 1 over 2. Or you could have just put the negative way out front, negative cosine 2 theta plus 1 over 2. That one looks good to me. That is our answer. They used it out front. They said negative cosine 2 theta plus 1 over 2. So I'm going to start the next video, starting with problem 6. I'll probably just do 5 problems in each video so that you just